Once the teams are ready, we will have the national anthems, beginning with the national anthem of Cote d'Ivoire. So the referees and the match officials are in position. I'd like to request all of us to be upstanding to pay our respects to the different countries and the different anthems. National anthem for Cote d'Ivoire. Next, the national anthem for Burkina Faso. Thank you so much. And as the teams go through the final pleasantries, we would like to go through the team sheets. Beginning with...
It's a chilly morning here at the Mandela National Stadium as the final match day, which is match day 3 of the Rugby Africa Cup, gets underway. This particular day, the 28th of July 2024, is when we are going to know who the ultimate champions are going to be. Zimbabwe and, of course, Algeria will be contesting that final. But before we can get to that point, we have other matters to sort out, and that has the placement games. And none comes more important and probably more critical than the one that we have before us that opens up match day 3. Cote d'Ivoire against the Burkina Faso. There is a lot at stake for these two teams. Very critical it is, because whoever loses this game will be relegated. And I can tell you that this is possibly the most important game on match day 3. Hello and welcome to the Nelson Mandela Stadium. John Vian and Simbe calling this rugby piece of action as Burkina Faso line up this morning. in the 7th, 8th place playoff game against the Ivory Coast. And alongside me is, of course, none other than Ruben Kihumuro. Referee will be Ricardo Piena from South Africa, who has already taken charge of a couple of games before this particular match day. Ruben, good morning, and this is a very important game for the two sides as we await the start of what should be a very close game between Ivory Coast, who are ranked 47, and Burkina Faso, who are ranked 92.
Yeah, good morning, and of course, yeah, the final before the final. This one is very, very important, of course, and they come into this game well aware of what's at stake, and it's going to be interesting to see the mindset that they bring to this particular one. But match day 3 is starting with a banger, you should say.
Yeah, definitely, and I don't think that there is going to be a game that is going to have so much at stake. Of course, the championship decider game is inevitably going to be a very, very important game, and one that you expect to be a highly competitive one. But then this one is in many ways life-sapping for both of these teams. If they fail to win this game, if either of these teams fails to win, then going back to the lesser tier is definitely not going to be good news.
Yeah, I'm sure all these nations are intent on trying to stay at the top so they can compete at the high level, but also having an opportunity to contest for the World Cup qualifiers is one thing that is key for these nations. So a lot is at stake, as you've said, and it's going to be interesting to see, of course, as Ivory Coast having the first set of pressure on this game.
Yeah, we can see Ivory Coast piling up the pressure in the mall here, and hoping that maybe they can force that ball over the line, and they continue to push up as their big man Famin Due gets very close. That is the lock as he gets very close there, and Burkina Faso not allowing Ivory Coast to make any more incursions into their area. It is such a delicate position that Burkina Faso find themselves in, but you can see how determined they are to make sure that that ball doesn't get touched down over that try line. But you can see also Ivory Coast insisting as Tiede Kone shot number 3 is continuing, and then just look at that pick and drive again. Looking at Famin Due, Ivory Coast again trying to find that space, and now it's Tiede Due. Can he get that ball over the line? And the referee says that it's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, there was a possible knock-on there at the rock, but it was advantage being played for Ivory Coast there. But great defense by Burkina Faso, of course, starting this game early. It's always tricky with this first game of the day, the conditions, and of course being the first to stretch your legs. And as we can see, of course, Ivory Coast yet again.
Yeah, not yet really down at the point where the referee would definitely raise his hand up to signal for a try. And again, this goes for an infringement here, as the referee calls players of Burkina Faso, and it's another penalty to the Ivory Coast, who have started up this game quite well, considering how they were against their last opponent, that is Senegal. You feel that this time they've done a lot better. Alexander Platy here, the captain, that's a fly half, gets the try in, and this clearly looked like an inevitable outcome, Ruben.
Yeah, definitely. Burkina Faso will be hard done. They're very, very good defense, but unfortunately, the waves of pressure from Ivory Coast were just too much. And you can just see the intent that they came out with and wanting to score that early try and getting those early points. Very, very vital. If they can add these extras, then it's going to be a great, great start for them. Ivory Coast showing that they want it more than Burkina Faso at the moment. Burkina not having the ball to play with, they have been condemned to defending for that early part of the try. But you can see as the setup was there, patient play from the big men of Ivory Coast, moving the ball while using their little bit of experience as compared to the Burkina Faso team. And the number 10, they're not shy of carrying the ball and showing his stuff there with the stretch to score, and the extras also are put in. So a full complement of 7 for Ivory Coast. Great way to start.
Yeah, definitely. And clear as daylight is the fact that Ivory Coast know how important this game is.
And we have
to avoid relegation, and which would mean that they will not be able to participate in the World Cup qualifiers next year. Is of the essence to make sure that they get the victory. But still early days, just about 5 minutes played in this game. Burkina Faso will definitely respond as they restart the game. Ivory Coast this time pick it up and kick for territory as shot number 15 Nakanabo Ismail make sure that ball is back in the territory of Burkina Faso, and Burkina Faso pick it up quite well here. Good tackle here coming in from Ivory Coast. Joko who is on Burkina Faso, shot number 15 Karimbiri Gafo. He has been one of the most impressive Burkina Faso players if you look back at his performances in the last 2 games that they played, particularly against Uganda.
Yeah, definitely. One that is not afraid to really try and express himself, get something going for the Burkina Faso team. Of course, their inexperience at this level has come to show at so many occasions, but he's one of those shining stars in the team that are really trying to make sure that things are happening for this Burkina Faso side.
Yeah, they will need a lot more from him. But of course, from the rest of the Burkina Faso charges, if they're to make sure that they avoid carrying the wooden spoon at the end of the 80 minutes of this game. And then Koulibaly Osman of Ivory Coast feeds the ball in, and he didn't start the previous game. He gets to start now, and that means that there's a bit of renewed vigorousness coming in now from this Ivory Coast team, but it's a penalty to Burkina Faso. Not releasing the ball once on the ground was the fault committed by Ivory Coast, so Burkina Faso definitely play for touch, and they do quite well there with what should be a very good kick and in a very good position that should help them build up some bit of momentum in offense.
Yeah, definitely. Good kick there, getting them just next to the center line. Their priority now is to see how close they can get from away from their half and inside the Ivory Coast half, because a lot of pressure and a lot of the game so far has been played in their half, and that is not something that they want, because they become susceptible to the penalties, and of course, as we saw earlier on, a potential try, the pressure that comes from the Ivorians, that's something they want to avoid.
Burkina Faso do well on the line out there as the ball is picked up, but then the pressure coming in from Ivory Coast. As you can see here, Banse Noru held up here in a bit of chokehold. It's a penalty, or rather a knock-on, and it's ball to the Ivory Coast.
Yeah,
that was good defensive play by Ivory Coast to make sure that they turned over the ball.
Yeah, definitely. And everything seems to be going right for Ivory Coast at the moment, making sure that they are competing and competing fairly, and their intent is really paying off at the moment, still keeping Burkina Faso in its half, and now they have ball in hand. It's interesting to see how they're going to make this work for them.
As they prepare for the scrummage here, Ivory Coast prepare to feed the ball into that scrummage. That is Koulibaly Osman, but already pushing before the referee had the scrum all set up, so they'll repeat the process here. A bit of eagerness from Ivory Coast, start pushing even before the referee has permitted that to happen.
Yeah, that's just the eagerness of the contest at the scrum. Both front rows trying to get the upper hand over the other, and that's what brings about that early shove. But let's wait and see if they can execute this one right. Good feed there.
Koulibaly picks it up, finds Alexander Plati, who kicks for territory. And if this ball, well, I'm sure he was hoping that he'd get into the corner so that they would get a line out just near the 22 of Burkina Faso. But ball is picked up by Karembiri, and it's returned now. Plati, and now who feeds it outside to find Nakadabo Ismail. He goes down as Ivory Coast ensure that they secure the ruck, and again the ball is picked up by Alexandre Plati. Pressure coming in from Burkina Faso. Again, continuing to build up Ivory Coast as bloody welcome. Good sharing of the ball, and it's being moved out quite fast here by the scrum half there, Osman Koulibaly. Now it's Lepri Jacquet of Ivory Coast, the man with the ponytail, shot number 12. Continuing and almost knocking it up. Oh, it is, yes, it was a knock on by Ivory Coast.
That is a knock-on, and then the player that was ahead of him, the teammate, held the ball, so that turns into a penalty for full offside. But unfortunate for Ivory Coast, who are really having a good phase of play. As you can see, over eagerness. We have seen that this is the second time from Ivory Coast, trying to do a lot of things even without having the ball. But this ideally is an opportunity for Burkina Faso perhaps to get something started. We have seen a lot of them on defense. In attack, they are yet to express themselves, and this is perhaps an opportunity. But first, they need to get the set piece right.
Ruben, I guess it is inevitable at this point of the tournament to see pressure mounting on the two sets of players. We just saw the way Ivory Coast knocked on the ball there. Just didn't think that it was something that was unavoidable, but I guess the pressure at this stage is quite huge, and mistakes are bound to be quite many as Burkina Faso secure the rack here. Picking it up is say Nuru, shot number 6. And not rolling away after tackling the man, so it's a penalty to Burkina Faso.
Yeah, definitely. Slow roll away there by the tackler, and interesting decision. Burkina Faso, at first it looked like they had signaled for the posts, but no, they are going for touch, and it's going to be their first visit inside Ivory Coast's half. Not the best of kicks though. From that angle, you think they could have gotten a few extra meters inside the 22-meter area, but they'll take what they get. Being close, of course, to the 22-meter area is this being the first time. Very important for them. Very important for them to really align. And as you can see, the last-minute communications for a trained set piece and seeing how they are going to execute.
And this is where Draogo Kader, the hooker, just throws the ball in. That's well executed line out as Burkina Faso get the game going here. Again, now it is Milogo Morris. It's been one of those very impressive locks for this Burkina Faso side. Karembiri finding shot number 13, teammate Zebango Jean. They're continuing to make some bit of headway here on the ground here again. Secure the rack. Burkina Faso swinging the ball quite well. Milogo Morris, the big man, skips a few tackles here. It's taken down. Still the ball is released as it finds teammate Demi Passi. Karembiri almost losing the ball, a bit of frantic play here by Deme Adama, shot 12 of Burkina Faso. Secure the rack, and that's a good job that they're doing there as they're trying to build up here. It's now Tankeu Boris. Shot number 3 is heavily tackled here as Ivory Coast try to take advantage there. Burkina Faso continuing to keep ball. The Conwadrogo Philippe has the ball there, shot number 8. And instead, as he was playing the ball back, it was stolen by Ivory Coast shot 10, Alexandre Pilati.
Yeah, Pilati, he's a number 10, but very uncharacteristic in his style of play. He's always, every bit of scuffle, every bit of turnover, every bit ball carrying situation, he's so involved. That shows the passion that he plays with. For a halfback, normally halfbacks like to just be the puppeteers, the string pullers, but as you can see there, Burkina Faso really, and you can see Pilati always there, always trying to read the next move, the next step that the opposition is trying to execute. And that's great touch there from Ivory Coast to get out of their half and yet again enter the Burkina Faso half.
Yeah, but Ruben, I think one thing that we've got to point out is that Burkina Faso are not doing themselves any much favors. Looking at this will definitely please Ivory Coast as Alexandre Pilati with the beautiful kick.
Yeah, brilliant kick there. Yeah, it is just, he was going for the 50-22, but he did not get into the 22-meter area. Yeah. But still, it's a very good kick. As you can see, Ivory Coast is intent on playing the territory. They are not allowing Burkina Faso to have any sort of possession inside their half. And every time they win the ball over, Pilati puts in very, very good kicks, finding space, and that on and off was just something magical to watch, I should say.
It just missed the infield just by inches. Otherwise, you feel that Pilates kick would have been an opportunity for Ivory Coast to execute a line out.
Yeah, definitely, but this is still also an opportunity for them. They can, if they can put the defensive pressure, they can force a turnover, and it's a good platform for them to play if they can win the ball back.
Yeah, Burkina Faso do quite well on the line out. That's the job that has been done by Kawowo shot number 2. He's got a plan, and I guess as a team, they know exactly what to do to ensure that they deny Ivory Coast the ball on the line outs. But bit of miss up here for Burkina Faso as Ivory Coast turn over the ball now. Suddenly it is ball in hands of Zokolo, who is on. As you can see, Ivory Coast continuing to put the pressure. Koulibaly, shot 9, Fahim Pilati, man that has got the only try so far in this game. Shot number 10 for Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast continuing to share the ball. Very good interplay here as they break the lines here. And it is Lepri Jacquet gets into the 22 of Burkina Faso, as now it is Elias, the hooker. And now it's shot 15 and Akanabo Ismail. Ivory Coast doing a very good job here in piling on the pressure and breaking the lines and getting ever closer to the try line. And there is tackle here. It's a penalty to Burkina Faso following the fact that Ivory Coast, once Elias Koulibaly went to the ground, he didn't release the ball.
Yeah, tackler, player that is being tackled, not releasing. And that's good defense. They are surviving pressure yet again, Burkina Faso, and they get the opportunity to exit their half. But we have just sung that for this first 18 minutes of the game, that they find themselves playing a lot of rugby in their half because of the pressure and of the dexterity that Ivory Coast is playing with. But now they need to get out of their half. They need to find ways of making it work. They need the set piece to work for them. They need to find the spaces and the territory to kick in so that they can force the pressure onto Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast so far has really done everything right, and Burkina Faso is really just trying to fill in the gaps.
It's a line out to Burkina Faso. Raogo Kadea has done well so far with those throw-ins. Does well again, and the ball is well picked up by his namesake, Ouedraogo Philippe, shot 8. As Burkina Faso trying to get into some bit of rhythm. Supporting weight.
Yeah, not supporting his weight in the turnover or in the jackal, and that's going to be a penalty to Burkina Faso. And there, of course, the 10 meters were not given by Ivory Coast, so the referee has the liberty of extending the position of the penalty, and that's the advantage that Burkina Faso get. And Burkina Faso need to pile on that pressure so that they can force Ivory Coast into more errors like those ones. That's a very, very good kick.
Yeah, Karembiri doing well this time, because one would have thought that maybe he could have, as a team, Burkina Faso could have thought of going for poles here, but they seem to be intent on making sure that they forced a try.
Yeah, still early days in the game. They can't afford such liberties, but they know that with time ticking, at some point they need to get some points on board regardless of what points they are. And this is one of those opportunities that is very, very crucial for them. As you can see, last-minute communications on what tactic they're going to be using. Their lineout has been not the bad, the bad one, not the best as well.
Well, the thing is that they've not really made so much progress, even when they've won the line out like this, because this is now the 4th successive one that they've won, but they just don't seem to make much stride there. As ball is picked up by Bansenuru there, swinging it out, Karembiri, and finds Zibango Jin. Now it is Yameoko Cloud of Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso trying to find a way out, and then somehow the pressure coming in from Ivory Coast just doesn't allow Deme Adama, the captain, to get into some thinking on how to break the lines. And now shot number 8 is Ouedraogo Philippe. Burkina Faso, the ball is turned over. It's a penalty to Ivory Coast.
Yeah, yet again, that's what we talked about. With all the advantage that Burkina Faso gets, they are unable to really see through. And after that wave of pressure, really, yet again, the turnover being affected, and good defense there by Ivory Coast, who get another opportunity to exit their half.
I think Ivory Coast will be happy about the way that things are panning out, that each time Burkina Faso comes close, they are forced into an error that results in possession being ceded to Ivory Coast.
True, true. Although they also be wary that having only 7 points is something that does not put them in a proper safe space. Their intent or their goal should be to try and get some extra points and at least make it a 2.
Very good throw. Now it's Alexander Plati. Now, of course, getting it is Lepri. Jacquet uses the ball. And there, shot number 9. Yes, doing a good job, Koulibaly Osman. I think he's really brought some bit of energy in this team. He's not been playing in the previous games, previous game. Today, he's looking very sharp. Ivory Coast on the floor now. It is Zoko. As they try to secure the rack, and they do that. Lepri now. Koulibaly Osman. Big fumble.
Yeah,
big fumble here.
Prior to that fumble, it was a very good phase of play there by Ivory Coast running rugby. And yeah, they luckily enough, they had advantage, and it's a penalty. Interesting to see what's going to be done. Of course, Pilati with ball in hand, just having a bit of a discussion. Maybe perhaps they'll think about a shot at goal, and yes, they are going for the penalty kick, perhaps to get some extra points on board. It's very wise of them, of course, with all this pressure and all the dominance they have to make sure that it shows on the scoreboard. And
with the points.
Yeah, with the points. And interesting to see if they can be able to get this these extra 3 points to add. Of course, Ismail Gueye, very, very important kick, this one for him.
And in a very, very inviting position for Ismail Gueye, like you pointed it out. Yeah, he does the job. Splits the balls here, and that is 10 to Cote d'Ivoire, 0 to Burkina Faso.
Yeah, very, very good kick there, not making a mistake of it, just striking it high and striking it in the middle, in between the posts. And there, Burkina Faso extend their lead to 10.
Yeah, very good kick there coming in now from Nakanabo Ismail Gueye of the Ivory Coast. With
Ismail
continue to tick
Nakanabo with extra points for Cote d'Ivoire. Slot sitting splits their pride. Cote d'Ivoire with a 10-point advantage now. Welcome to match day 3 of the Rugby Africa Championships. And this is the day when the champion will be crowned. It will be between Zimbabwe and Algeria. But for now, Cote d'Ivoire laying their intentions to remain in the top tier.
Alexander Pilati there, really kicking very, very well. Big kick there to get out of their half. But Ivory Coast have really been clear on how they want to play. The territory game has been on point, getting the set piece, forcing the pressure and taking the points as they come, really playing experienced, mature rugby, and of course showing you that whatever points they get matter because they know what's at stake, 7th or 8th.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it's all to do for Burkina Faso to try and see if they can find a way out of the hole that they are in, trailing by 10 points, 15 minutes to go in first half. With Draogo Kader has to get it this time.
Yeah, that is a free kick to Burkina Faso. Ivory Coast infringing, entering into the tunnel, that space in between the two lines at the line out. And prior to that throw, there was a caution by the referee to Ivory Coast, but they did not take heed. And this is another one of those small opportunities that Burkina Faso is getting, but they need to make something count for them. They need to make something work for them.
Even with the advantage that they get, as we can see, Ouedraogo Philippe. Now it's Ouedraogo Rachid. Now Karembiri Gafo takes a long kick, but the ball just doesn't.
Very good kick there by Karembiri. And his opposite number unable to really gather, and that's a quick start from them.
Again, Philippe. Now that's the big man. That is the tight end Tankeo for Burkina Faso. Ouedraogo Rachid continuing to swing the ball here. It's now Zebango Jean. Plays it back to find for Karembiri. He breaks the lines here, hoping that he can get some support. Ivory Coast are very, very quick when there is a breakdown.
Yeah, but there's advantage being played. Ball being taken back to the mark where the penalty is. Should be offside. Why that penalty was given. Burkina Faso need to protect their ball a lot better, however.
Especially in this phase of play, as Tankeo goes in to support his forward mate, that is Ouedraogo Kader. The rock is well secured here by Burkina Faso. Continuing to pile on the pressure, they're continuing to pound, get in as close as possible. Deme Passi. The outside is Jean, and he can't be denied here. Zebango Jean of Burkina Faso touches down here for Burkina Faso's first try. That was intelligent play from Jean Zebango.
Yeah, great awareness there. Slow ball by the forwards, and then when the ball finally comes out to the backs, Zebango there cutting through the defense, of course, with a show and go. The defender, really lazy attempt, you have to say, not covering his drift very well, and that is what we talked about. When Burkina Faso gets all their bearings right, this is what happens.
Yeah, and you can see that the attempt that was coming in now from Nzoko Louison of Ivory Coast, shot number 7, seemed to be quite late in trying to stop this onslaught by Burkina Faso, who now have a chance to add the extras here if they can get this conversion right. And it is the responsibility of their shot number 10, Deme Passi of Burkina Faso, as he prepares his thoughts and gets the kick in. It came very close, came really close, but just didn't split the post. It just went past the post on the left-hand side. So it remains at 10-5. Not a bad attempt.
Yeah, the angle was just a little tight. His strike was good, but unfortunately on the wrong side of the post there. But good intent, at least that's much better from Burkina Faso, getting the 5 points and having the deficit. But that is what happens when they can string play. I mean, Zebango just having the awareness to see the lazy defender and exploiting that gap and going all the way to dot down. Now we have a game on our hands.
Absolutely. As game resumes here, that kick-off kick coming in from Alexander Pilati. Now again it is Gafo. He finds Ouedraogo Philippe, number 8. Again, there's a big kick here as the whistle goes. Referee will call play back here.
Yeah, offside there. Penalty to Burkina Faso. Alexander Pilati seems not to agree with the referee, but his word is final.
Penalty to Burkina Faso. But the assumption is that they're just going to play for touch here. And that is exactly what Gafo Karembiri just did with that kick. About 10 minutes to go. to the end of the first half here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium. If you're just joining us, you are watching the Africa Rugby Cup, courtesy of NBA Sport and Kawowo Sport. We've been bringing you this action for the last 1 week. Today is the climax, what has been a pretty engaging tournament. There's a knock-on this time.
Yeah, ball lost there and a bit of indiscipline. Back chat there by Burkina Faso, trying to overspeak to the referee when it's not through the captain. And what was should have been a scrum has turned into a full penalty. Those are the small bit of indiscipline that Burkina Faso need to avoid, especially when they're trying to chase a game. And yet again, possession now back with Ivory Coast.
But there are some blowing
Platy also
tools
attempts
that do confuse
to get
the match
the right
officials.
kick
To the
on.
fans, let's be wary of what we use
So it's going
as
to
we
be
cheer.
a line out here.
It is Cote d'Ivoire
For
10,
Cote d'Ivoire.
Burkina Faso 5 in the first game
First
of the
half.
final match day of the Rugby Africa Championships.
10-5 the scoreline is, and kind of scoreline to give either team so much confidence yet. Now Alexander Platy breaking through, hoping that he can get some support, and he does, but his teammate just knocked on the ball. Nakanabo Ismail. Now this is the kind of opportunity that you've got to find yourselves really ruining, because you look at the distance that Nakanabo still had to cover, and wasn't much.
Yeah, Pelati there, Alexander, very, very good play. Finding the gap, of course, against the second row, beating him on the defense, and then the basketball pass out wide. But unfortunately, handling skills are really letting them down in that particular one. But you can see the coach just having a bit of a concern there.
Yeah.
That he knows his team needs to take some of these opportunities if they are going to secure this victory.
Well, it is inevitable that he'll feel the pressure as well, with all that is at stake.
Yes, good scrum there by Ivory Coast, and they get the penalty. Burkina Faso, the pressure, they are really caving in. You thought that with that try, perhaps some of the momentum had swung, but unfortunately, Ivory Coast having their own response, and at the heart of everything is Alexander Pilati.
He gets to force the issue here. He's hoping for some support here, and it comes in time in shape of Sibiri Omar of Ivory Coast, shot number 6, inching ever closer for a second try. And
the ball held up there.
Yeah.
Good defense there by Burkina Faso, quelling that Ivory Coast pressure.
One of the coaching staff members of Ivory Coast giving the players that look to suggest that he's not happy about the way they are getting to do the job here.
Yeah, great shove, but also great awareness from Burkina Faso to have the player under the ball to make sure that they do not score another try.
And then again, breaking the lines this time is Nakanabo Ismail of Ivory Coast, but he's held back as Burkina Faso seemed to be gaining a lot in terms of energy, but then there was a knock-on by Ivory Coast, so it's going to be ball to Burkina Faso. Ivory Coast, some of the players just don't seem to be happy about the referee's call, particularly shot number 4, Kaniso Traore. Just didn't seem to see any knock-on in that phase of play.
Yeah, but they also need to stop focusing so much on the calls of the referee and focus on playing their game, because if they let that get to their heads, then they will not play good rugby. So I'm sure the leadership in the team should be able to communicate that leave the referee has to make their calls, and you focus on playing rugby.
Scrum is all set here, but then the referee not really happy about the way the movement was going on before his whistle went to stop the players already engaging. Sawadogo Rashid of Burkina Faso with ball in hand. With approximately 4 minutes left on the clock.
And yet again, another scrum there. Penalty for Ivory Coast. Burkina Faso infringing yet again, starting to lose that contest at scrum time. It was 50-50 early on in the game, and but this time round it seems to be going in the favor of Ivory Coast, who choose to go for touch and not for extra points, perhaps wanting to end the first half on a particular high with a try. They have had the pressure, they have had the opportunities, and it being 10-5 should be a bonus to Burkina Faso, who perhaps with all this pressure have been able to hold their own. Ivory Coast want to make sure that they have a better scoreboard card, or advantage I should say, going into halftime.
I want to thank you for coming
Burkina
out
Faso will
today.
be disappointed by the manner
Will
in
be
which
the
they
last
have
day we see
forced,
huge
or rather
guys,
allowed
these
Ivory Coast to
huge
turn over the
players
ball.
touch the return today as the champion will be
Now
crowned.
Pilati
That will
for
be against
Ivory Coast,
Zimbabwe
gaining
and
some
Terry
distance
Back
on the
now.
opponents.
Cote
Lepri
d'Ivoire
Jacques.
is leading this one, 10 points.
Place called back here, the whistle goes, and it's going to be a yellow card. It's been shown to the Burkina Faso player. Shot number 8, that's Wedraogo Philippe. Doesn't seem to be phased yet, clearly. Getting yourself a sin bin now will definitely cost your team. Yes, shot number 8. We need to see what exactly he did.
Yeah, I think that was just a case of illegally taking the ball out of the rock, and perhaps a case of repeated infringement by Burkina Faso, and the ref to restore order had to make sure that he sets his mark on the game, and that yellow card is a communication that any sort of indiscipline will not be tolerated, as a change is coming on there for Burkina Faso.
Yeah, you can see that they brought in Fugnat Flavien, and he replaces, he seems to be replacing shot number 3. Would he be it's surprising if he's going to be replacing a forward. It seems to be shot number 3, that's Tankeu Boris. Isn't that a bit of a surprise to see Tankeu Boris being taken off the tight head prop?
Yeah, quite surprising, but let's see how it works out. Usually shot number 20 or whoever enters for that shot number is not normally a front rower, but perhaps in this occasion, let's see what the coach is trying to medicate with that one. Of course, the substitute goes on at lock, and then one of the locks goes to prop, which is very, very interesting. And maybe perhaps it's working. They get their first scrum penalty, so perhaps the end justifies the means.
Yeah, you can see tight head being taken off this early. It's a bit of a surprise, I must say, Ruben, because it's not usual that forwards can be substituted this early in the game.
Should be a bit of an perhaps an injury there that could not be walked off. But Burkina Faso starting to really feel it, because I'm also seeing Milogo Morris Musa as well, looking like he needed some medical attention there.
Yeah.
So it's very concerning when you have, especially those players that have been dependable servants for you, starting to really get niggles. I know it's been 3 games of intense rugby throughout the Rugby Africa Cup, but you need to finish on a high, you need to finish on a strong mindset here, and especially with what's at stake, not trying to finish 8th in ranking. Burkina Faso need to really hope that fortune smiles at them.
It's a kick in by Karimbiri Gaffo trying to make the run in, but Ivory Coast do a good job in making sure that they get a good hold of the ball, as now the scrum half just does the job well, and that's one Koulibaly Osman. Could hold up the ball here as Ivory Coast continue. as ball this time turned over as the hoot goes. Means that this should be the last act as that Flavien now finds of course Karembiri tries to break the line, and then there's a knock on from him. Good tackle coming in from Ivory Coast, but then of course also Simbiri Omar is tackled here. Picking up the ball for Ivory Coast is Famin Doe, the lock, trying to push forward as Osman Koulibaly finds a Pilati, the fly half here, gaining some real significant territory. Now it's Demi Doué. Now it's of course a Pivar over Ivory Coast, and the whistle goes for a penalty again.
Yeah, penalty there. Tackler not rolling. And interesting that Ivory Coast are choosing to play on despite the hooter being sounded. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Do they still want to go perhaps in search of some extra points, or do they? And yeah, that penalty going, very good kick there by the scrum half, and it is going to be a penalty inside the Burkina Faso half, but still another attacking opportunity. You cannot end the game on a penalty. If they did want to end it, perhaps they would have tapped to play and then kick it out, but they choose to go for territory, and they want to play perhaps to... Both teams are intent on trying to go into halftime with a good score, and Ivory Coast not feeling like 10-5 is a good score for them, as the referee trying to clarify something.
Yeah, I'm sure that Ivory Coast feel that they have an opportunity to try and get a couple more points on. Yeah, and better still a try to really extend their lead beyond just the 5 points.
Yeah, now trying to employ the maul attack, perhaps milk a penalty. That's what they're looking at, and they get it. Of course, they were looking for perhaps one of the Burkina Faso players to collapse the maul, and they did so. And now it's an opportunity for a free play, which has the opportunity to come back, and another case of cynical play there. But the referee choosing not to put too much importance to that.
Yeah, but he has a word with the player, clearly telling them not to repeat that act. And
it's an opportunity for perhaps Ivory Coast to go for another line-out and maybe go for the maul yet again, or go for points. But Pilati looks intent on finding some extra meters inside inside the Burkina Faso half, just outside the 5-meter mark. Good opportunity for them to go for the maul yet again. Very intent on wanting to score that try and going into the break with a good one.
It's proving to be quite a hard day out already for Burkina Faso. Koulibaly Elias executes the line out here. So Ivory Coast continue to pile on the pressure here. Elias Koulibaly seeing the try line is just inches away from where he is. And of course, a penalty to Burkina Faso.
Yeah, tackled player not releasing. And yet again, good defense by Burkina Faso, quelling those waves. You think at some point maybe Burkina Faso and Burkina Faso does kick the ball out, but you think that perhaps Ivory Coast could have chosen to take some of those points. Sometimes you have to take the easy points, really.
Yeah, exactly. So you feel that now that that player has not resulted in anything, they'll look back on that opportunity to get that penalty executed, and
where winner takes it all,
one that of course would have ensured that they go into the
break. For now, DJ
by 8 points.
Yeah, definitely. They have had 2 penalties. They have turned them down for the attempt at goal, and they have chosen to go for the line-out, and both occasions have not gone successful. So that's something that perhaps from a strategy point of view they need to adjust.
Well, it's half-time here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium as we watch Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast return to the locker room for a bit of a breather. 10-5 is the scoreline, and we know that this game is as important as any other that is going to be played, if not the most important, because the one that loses this game will be relegated to the lesser tier of African rugby, and that will mean that they will not be able to participate in the World Cup qualifiers next year. At halftime here, courtesy of NBS Sport and Kawowo Sport in the Africa Rugby Cup. Cote d'Ivoire 10, Burkina Faso 5.
yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
And clear as daylight is the fact that
the subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold. Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
Welcome back to the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Namboole, Kampala, Uganda, where we are bracing ourselves for the final act of the Africa Rugby Cup that has been running since the 20th of July. All action winds up today, and then it will be another 2 years. But before we get anywhere close to the close, we have a placement game, seventh place playoff between Ivory Coast with that yellow sash on their jerseys against Burkina Faso right here on the ball. Game coming to you courtesy of NBA Sport and Kawowo Sport. John Vianney Simbe calling this game, and alongside me in the commentary booth is Ruben Kihumuro. Ruben, this is now or never for the two sides, but more particularly for Burkina Faso, who trail by the 5 points, and they get off to a good start in terms of intent.
Yes, very, very crucial 40 minutes for both teams. Ivory Coast know that their job is not yet done. Burkina Faso know that they need to get something going, and of course this is good territory for them. Good pressure to start the second half, and I'm sure whatever was spoken to them at the half has really sunk in their minds, and you can see from the intent starting this game, they have to make sure that they maintain the momentum and they don't lose out. Of course, they still have a yellow card, but it's early pressure and early advantage for them. But surely 40 minutes for both teams, very crucial. Everyone's really gunning for that number 7 ranking and trying to avoid that number 8 seed.
Yeah, number 8 will mean that you're relegated to the lower tier, and that knocks you out of the World Cup qualifiers. And now Karembiri of Burkina Faso been a bundle of energy as he's tackled there. He releases the ball. Good work there at the rack from Burkina Faso, and now it's Vugnat Flavien. Burkina Faso, shot number 20, came on as a late first half substitute, as now Burkina Faso making inroads here. It's Bansenoro. He is tackled. He releases the ball. Now finds Milogo Morris, offering support, especially considering his power and size. And now it's Karembiri. Very tricky player, but stopped there in his attempts to break the lines of this Ivory Coast defense line.
Yeah, very elusive player there, Karembiri, creating opportunities, trying to find the space. Although the Ivory Coast defense is really holding tight.
Yeah, not allowing Burkina Faso to make any significant inroads. Of course, they've now got into the 22, but you can still say that there's still a long way from their intended target, which is to get a try very early in this second half.
Great turnover there by Ivory Coast, of course. The support players there not coming in time for the ball carrier, and Ivory Coast bounce and yet again get a penalty, and with a quick start there.
Of course, they are coming in droves here to try and put pressure on Burkina Faso, and they do exactly that. They turn over the ball, and now you can see Ivory Coast trying to really make some inroads here. Koulibaly Osman, the scrum half, goes down. He stopped there, and there's a knock on there. Oh, but there was an offside earlier on, so it will still be advantage to Ivory Coast.
Yeah, advantage Ivory Coast there. They're really employing a lot of quick play, although there was a high tackle, but that was a free advantage to play and a knock-on, fortunately. But
Yeah.
you can see...
Jacques had knocked on the ball there as he appears there in your picture with that ponytail. And he's a very fortunate man that there was an early infringement that took play back.
Yeah, a bit of a high tackle there for by Burkina Faso, and you think maybe there could have been a card given for dangerous play. But luckily, I think the referee choosing to just keep it as it is and give the penalty to Ivory Coast. We did talk about Ivory Coast's decision making, choosing to go for the line out instead of taking the points. It's interesting to see what strategy or what philosophy they're going to go with in this second half, knowing that of course they have about 38 minutes or so to play, and they have a small gap and they need to stretch it as much as possible. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about the second half as a change is made for Ivory Coast.
A change is made very early, 3 minutes into the second half, as Obameji, shot number 14, is replaced by Traore Amadou, who has been Ivory Coast's most maybe important player in a way, you could say, especially as far as getting them points in this tournament is concerned. That is Amadou Traore, shot 22, has just been introduced.
Yeah, definitely. There were a couple of changes coming into this particular game, but now trying to see some of the more familiar faces that have been featuring for Ivory Coast from match day 1 and match day 2, and Amadou, of course, being one of those integral ones coming into this game, and to see what he can contribute with the second half going on.
It's going to be a scrummage here. Ivory Coast just off the hook there after they had knocked on the ball. Osmana Koulibaly trying to encourage his teammates, the forwards, to push back. The forwards of Burkina Faso, and now they pick up the ball there. They're getting very close now, and the slippery Jacques, shot 12. Osman gets his teammate in, and the try almost, but not there yet. As Bloody Welcome picked it up there of Ivory Coast, using his body size, and the ball is knocked on there.
Yeah, the referee waiting for communication from his assistant, and it's a penalty, perhaps an infringement. One of the players not really maybe being a little over eager and being offside, and it's going to be advantage to Ivory Coast there. Patient play. This is the time when the big boys, the forwards, earn their money, and as you can see, a scrum has been called. Ivory Coast intend to make the most of this one. Well aware that they have Alexander Pilati and his runners on the outside as well, but first all the work and the platform has to be set by the Ivorians.
And Ouedraogo Philippe of Burkina Faso returns following his yellow card at the tail end of the first half. So the 10 minutes of that punishment have elapsed. So now, Ivory Coast at full strength, which was not the case for the last 10 or so minutes. You can see that Ivory Coast getting themselves set here, but then as the ball is fed in by Koulibaly, this man, the forwards expected as they pick it up, and now Koulibaly on the blind side. He finds his mate here. That was a brilliant pass that found Hoto Emma of Ivory Coast, and that will be an extra 5 points for Ivory Coast, as a member of their coaching staff looks really calm, you know, sporting that smile.
But yeah, you can just see definitely exploiting the blind side, and Emmanuel Huto dotting down. But that is what we talked about, the big men earning their money with that shove at the scrum time, and then creating the platform and the and the attacking opportunity for the outside backs, but great running from Usman Koulibaly as well, the number 9, to be able to support the 8th man and receive ball and then pass it out wide, making that try look very easy on the eye and very, very easy on the scorer. Of course, great advert for rugby there by Ivory Coast, who extend their lead.
Yeah, that's a very good play now. Ivory Coast on 15 points. Good start, I must say, after the 7 minutes of the second half. But they created an overload on one side, and then they made sure that there was enough numbers on the blind side for them to exploit, as the conversion not good enough, and Ivory Coast miss out on those 2 extras. Courtesy of that man, Nakanabo Ismail Traore. He scored 1 conversion in the first half. Now his second opportunity has just not been as precise. 15-5. Burkina Faso on the back foot. They still have time on their side if they can get their acts together.
Yeah, beautiful weather, of course, as the fans start to come in. But great day. One thing we have been really privileged to have is great weather on all match days, so it's quite the good conditions, of course, for rugby. Yeah, it has been a really beautiful tournament to watch.
Yeah, you don't want the rains to be coming down heavy. They can just make the ball carries and movement of the players quite restrictive.
Yeah, ball lost in that carry by shot number 4 for Ivory Coast, of course, being that is Kaniso Traore. Actually, that is for Burkina Faso, rather. That is Milogo Musa, rather. And unfortunately, this is not something that Burkina Faso should be doing at this stage. They need to keep their ball. Every opportunity that they need to get, they need to guard it jealously. But unfortunately, really giving away ball so easily back to the Ivorians, who have just scored and giving them another attacking platform.
It's been a real struggle for Burkina Faso to build up any sort of momentum each time that they've had the ball. And that has allowed Ivory Coast to really breathe easy here, because Burkina Faso, each time that they've had the ball, they've really struggled to keep it. Koulibaly Osman. Shot 9 for Ivory Coast. Secures the ball quite well. Now they continue to boss their way in, and it's a bloody welcome. Ivory Coast. Real hustle here, but the ball is turned over by Burkina Faso's shot number 7, Dao Omar. They make some real significant inroads into enemy territory here.
Yeah, advantage, and it's a full penalty there for a high tackle. Yeah, one of the tacklers went in a little high. You could say it was a bit hard done, maybe because the player was also falling to his feet, so already there are some mitigating factors there, but perhaps for the case of safety, it is important to call those. As you can see, of course, Nakanabo, they are trying to go in for the tackle, and the falling player is tackled high, and it's another opportunity. This time, Burkina Faso not going for the points, but choosing to go for a line-out, intent or aware that they need to get a 5-pointer, perhaps to limit or to reduce the score by a big margin. But however, you also need to think, as there's a change coming on, shot number 17.
Yeah, for Ivory Coast, and that is a prop, replacing a prop. Sahin Christian, 17, coming on for Tiede Kone. Very early in the second half. What's your understanding of this, Ruben?
Yeah, there are different strategies to the front row. Of course, some teams choose to have part of their team play 60 minutes or so and then give them a rest, especially for these big men that have a lot of attritional work. But then others, of course, depending on the fitness of your props, you can choose to have him play for longer. But in this case, they think that he has done his job, and a new player can come on with fresh legs and new energy.
As Burkina Faso try to maintain the ball here. Good swinging of the ball. Karembiri picks it up, held up in the chokehold here by Ivory Coast. They push him back.
Advantage there for not releasing early. Free play there for Burkina Faso.
Miloko Mosa Maurice. Burkina Faso, as Burkina Faso try to get in as now Kader with Drawogo. Ivory Coast are holding their own this time, and now it's again Burkina Faso. So it's shot number 12 here, Demi Adama, the captain.
Hard carry there by Demi Adama.
Yeah, and a fine shot number 9 who breaks the lines, and that is Sawadogo Rashid between the poles, and it's a try. My word, that was brilliant play coming in now from Burkina Faso, who seemed to be dead and buried, and now they are back to life. 10 points, Burkina Faso, and they have an opportunity to add the extras and bring their tally to 12. We have a game on our hands suddenly, Ruben.
Great awareness there by Sawadogo, the scrum half, to see, of course, a backtracking defense and no one there at the pillar and going through and scoring under the post, but it all comes. Just look at that awareness, of course, the lazy play there, and the big man shot number 2 unable to cover Sawadogo going in, and that is the mark of a typical intelligent scrum half, being able to exploit as. Unfortunately, they do not convert, and that is quite strange. Why Burkina Faso really made a mess of that particular one.
Unbelievable, and that's Deme Pasi, the shot number 10, the fly half, has just made a mess of what should have been 2 extra points.
Yeah,
and isn't this where games are lost, in such moments where you just make a totally wrong decision?
Yeah, if it goes down to the wire, they'll definitely rule such chances. But of course, when you're taking the conversion, when you start your motion into kicking the ball, the opposition team is allowed to charge it down. So I think he took a little bit of time while trying to convert, and you can say, oh, it was just an unfortunate bit of the ball getting off the tee, and he tried to take the drop kick quite quickly, but the on-rushing player was already there, and those are chances, unfortunately. So sad for them.
Yeah, exactly. Confirmation of a substitution by Ivory Coast, shot number 6, Simbiri Omar is taken off, and he is replaced by Doumbia Ali, shot 19. For Ivory Coast, bringing on some fresh legs needed, especially now that Burkina Faso seem to be getting back into life here. Osman Koulibaly, the scrum half, dazzles his way through the lines and leaves the couple for dead. Finds his teammate who's been keyed, shot number 10, Pilati. They try to secure the rack here. That is Ivory Coast. Pilati again. Finds shot number 8, and that is a bloody welcome, using his mass and brawl to knock bodies out of his way. Ivory Coast continuing to pile on the pressure, and now the newly introduced Sahin Christian, shot number 17, with a heavy ball carry there, but then there's a penalty to Burkina Faso.
Yeah, player not releasing there, and it is a penalty advantage to Burkina Faso. Good resilience and patience as well, and knowing when to pounce to get that turnover. It's going to be important to see if Karembiri can be able to get those extra meters needed.
Well, he just couldn't get it as the ball is picked up by shot number 13, and that's Ouattara Yao. Pilati held back. And it's now Sahin Christian. Ivory Coast. Osman Koulibaly. Pilati now. As the tackles are flying in from Burkina Faso, not allowing Ivory Coast to get into the floor. There's that bit of rush defense coming in now from Burkina Faso suddenly. I don't know if you've noticed that, Ruben.
Yeah, they're trying to force as much pressure as possible, not allowing the opposition to get comfortable ball, and yeah, just trying to, of course, see how to get any advantage back on their side.
Doumbia.
Yes, tackler not rolling away fast enough, and that's advantage to Ivory Coast. Interesting to see, just outside the 10-meter mark, as there's an injured player there in visible agony after that tackle.
Felipe, the number 8, seems to be carrying a shoulder injury, and now Ivory Coast seem to have decided to go for the pause, and with the introduction of Amadou Traore, shot 22, the man who has been kicking for them in previous games, I guess they have got the confidence that they can get those extras. And is this the time where every point matters?
Yeah, definitely every point matters now, of course. as we come to the 60-minute mark, rather. Any points that they get, but any territory as well, because even if they miss this one, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso still kicks back to them. So it's a case of, yes, you're buying time, yes, you're trying to go for the points, but yes, you also have the opposition kick back the ball even if you miss.
And of course, Amadou Traore off the mark. Not at all what his mates would have hoped for, because you know what it means is that if they'd got those 3 extras, then it takes them to 18, which as a result also implies that even if Burkina Faso were to get a try and have it converted, it would just be 7 and they would still be leading by the 1.
Yeah, definitely. It's a game of tallies at the moment, of course, knowing that it is 10-15. Both teams will be looking to add as many points as possible, as yet again we are seeing a player not releasing the ball, but great intent by Burkina Faso at the breakdown to be able to pounce and get those much needed turnovers.
A couple of changes. Number 17, Christian Sahi in his own. Number 22,
his
own.
Ball to Burkina Faso. Karembiri.
As both coaches give to the benches to freshen.
Trying to get the ball as far
We're in the second
into
half and
the first territory as possible.
Brilliant kick there by Karembiri, getting them some good meters, and an attacking line out inside Ivory Coast half. They have shown on the opportunities as we're seeing some changes for a couple of players coming on. I think there is a bit of an injury to one of the other props, so a prop that was substituted can't come back on in that regard.
As it appears like the shot number 5 instead has got injured. That's Famin Due, so the prop is now going to be a lock, it appears, because he's replaced a lock, and then Osman Koulibaly has been taken off, the scrum half, and in his place is Kamara Adama. That was interesting to see what Elias Koulibaly was doing there, the hooker of Ivory Coast. He waited for Burkina Faso to charge down at him.
They're just basically trying to set up the ruck, but you know it takes an opposing player or a tackler to make that ruck, so he could not go down without anyone initiating contact. That's why he waited. And perhaps you could think that maybe he's a bit tired at the moment. Maybe the coaches will be thinking about maybe a substitution in that regard as well. But Ivory Coast just trying to play through the structures. As Alexander Pilati there losing the ball as he tried to release and gather again.
And it's not a decision that has been welcomed by some of his teammates. If you could see their reactions and gestures following that loss of the ball there, the turnover that was forced by Burkina Faso, and they are right into the 22 of Ivory Coast. And the man with the ball is the man that just scored their last try. That is Sawadogo Rachid. With about 20 minutes to play in this second half. Rachid Sawadogo. Now Burkina Faso's Zebango Jean. Rack well secured. And they continue to flow. Deme Pasi just missed what should have been an easy conversion. Rack again well secured by Burkina Faso, playing some really neat rugby here. As ball is picked up by Sayoba with Draogo, who's tackled. And the ball is turned over by Ivory Coast suddenly. That was impressive, coming in from Le Prix Jacques. Ivory Coast doing a pretty good job, and the kick for territory by Nakanabo Ismail Traore, but doesn't go far. Ball well picked up by Shatiler Burkina Faso, Sawadogo Abase. And he is pulled back as he was trying to break the lines here.
It's a penalty. Tackler not releasing. And there, Burkina Faso Interesting to see what the referee is calling. There's a yellow card being given to an Ivory Coast player for tackling a man and not being 10 meters back. So he was offside and intentionally playing a man that was attempting a penalty. So again, there's a numerical advantage to one of the teams. Of course, we did see a yellow card for Burkina Faso in the first half. Now it is a yellow card for Ivory Coast. And it is interesting to see how Burkina Faso is going to make the most of this one.
It's going to be a very big test for them now that they are 14 instead of 15. And that is going to be every opportunity trying to be taken by Burkina Faso. Shot number 4. And that is Kaniso of Ivory Coast. It's a lock. Kaniso Traore has been sent to the sin bin here. Burkina Faso will now be smelling blood. It's a big opportunity now. But then it seems like it was there was an infringement earlier on, or was it a forward pass?
Looked like a great pass from where we were, but the referee says it was a forward pass. Unfortunate for them. You'd think that they had gotten some space on the outside, but perhaps a little too eager, and Ivory Coast let off the hook there. They get a chance to perhaps set up and exit. A lot of reshuffle in their scrum, as we have seen forwards being changed and then brought back on in different positions, especially for the props. And I think it has also upset their momentum and their chemistry in the setup. So they really need to find a working balance for that particular team, especially with the forwards. Now that they're even one-man short, they are going to be scrummaging with 7 men unless they choose to bring perhaps one of the centers to cover at flank.
Well, the substitute, that is Vugnat Flavien, has been withdrawn, and in his place is shot number 21, Key Hyacinth. I wonder whether Vugnat Flavien could be carrying a knock or something. The Ivory Coast key player and captain here.
They've taken off Alexander Pilati, and you can see he's not amused by that. I think it's a weird decision. I don't think he was tired. I think he's the man that has been trying to do the most, but perhaps not doing it to the satisfaction of the coaches, so they think that someone else can get the job done.
It's an interesting choice, especially when you consider what Pilati brings to the team. Now pressure on Ivory Coast as Karen Biri is thwarted here of Burkina Faso. They continue to play on here, and it is Deme Adama. Find Passy, Chaten, and then the tackle there by Hoto Emma on Sawadogo Abase of Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso now trying to apply as much stealth as possible to try and exploit any inch of space that could be left by Ivory Coast. But Ivory Coast are on a heavy lookout like guard dogs here, not about to allow any enemy encroach on their territory, let alone get a try. Karembiri with a kick.
Goes straight out, and you can see
disappointment.
Yeah, in disappointment. They're trying to go for that space behind the defense line, but overcooking that one. And goes straight out, so they go back to the mark where he kicked the ball from, advantage to Ivory Coast.
It's going to be a line out here for Ivory Coast. They seem not to have decided who is going to throw that ball in, though.
It's just a case of with time off, as there's someone perhaps getting some medical attention, they are also going to have a chance to go through their strategy for the line-out.
Deep down into the second half of this game.
And it is the hooker, shot number 2 of Ivory Coast, Koulibaly Elias. At this point in time, Ruben, how would you try and exploit the numerical disadvantage that Ivory Coast are facing now? If you are Burkina Faso, what do you do?
Yeah, well, all this starts with, of course, playing good territory, but once they get into good territory, try and force the scrum, try and go for the scrum and then push. Of course, they have one extra man, and that weight can come for a lot when it comes to scrum time. Choose to use that, force the pressure, and then run the ball on the outside. There's always going to be an extra space because you have the man, or the extra man, I should say.
Well, so you don't really entirely agree with maybe those kick passes that are played in by Ivory Coast Karembiri there a short while ago. He has the ball again and put under pressure by the Ivory Coast there. Burkina Faso do a good job in protecting it. And then another big kick for territory. That is exactly the plan of Demi Adama, shot number 12 of Burkina Faso. As they charge down on Ivory Coast, but Ivory Coast shot Adama Kamara does well in evading all the tacklers. He does a good job in keeping ball and gets the support of Koulibaly Elias. And now comes Lepri Jacques. Ivory Coast doing well. Keep the ball now. It's the prop shot number 1, pivot. And the whistle goes for an earlier infringement that the referee calls back.
Yeah, it was a high tackle there, and advantage to, of course, Ivory Coast now, who will try to perhaps take a little bit of time as we are in the 66th minute. Patient play. They're going to try and look for the line out, and then from there try and play, but they're really trying to manage the game, because game management at this point comes in. Them having a 5-point lead is not the biggest, but they know that they have the advantage, and especially that they have their one man down. They need to make sure that they manage the game well, eat up as many minutes as possible until he can come back, and whichever opportunity they get, maybe go for the points, maybe stretch that lead. It's very, very important for them. I think Burkina Faso will be the more the urgent teams in this, of the two.
Yeah, definitely. But then they will also feel that with the numerical advantage, they've got to try and make it count. But then Ivory Coast do well on the line out here. Madu Traore, and then ball is turned over. Well done, Burkina Faso. Karembiri held up, but still keeps good control of the ball.
Good counter rack there.
As of course, Burkina Faso's Nzoko Louison. Good sharing of the ball now by Burkina Faso's captain. So Wadogo Demi Adama.
A bit of a mismatch there, and that was a forward pass. Unfortunately, Burkina Faso trying to force passes there. Sometimes you think it's better to just keep the ball and wait for the next phase, but
exactly,
they are really forcing them. It's a case of maybe a little overexcitement, or as we talked about, now they are the ones that are in a bit of urgency and perhaps turning into borderline panic, which is something that is not going to work in their favor. Despite the fact that they are trailing, they need to keep a calm head.
Absolutely. 12 minutes of play left. Still enough time for Burkina Faso to turn their fortunes around, but they will definitely not be able to do that unless they have got the right decisions being made. It's a ball in the scrummage here, and it is for the Ivory Coast. Shot number 23, Kamara Dama, the scrum half. Get the ball fed in, and then there's a bit of a collapse already.
Yeah, free kick there to Ivory Coast, who now move the ball quickly, trying to work against a defense that is not set.
Doing well in of course, Traore for Ivory Coast. Amadou. Good play now, Kamara Adama, Ivory Coast. Continue to pile on, continue to eat into enemy territories. As Zoko Louison again. Ivory Coast doing a pretty good job. Doumbia Ali. There was a knock on. Ivory Coast continue. Doumbia Ali, and now breaking the lines, of course, is their fullback. Shot number 15, Nakanabo Ismail. And it's ball to Burkina Faso as Nakanabo Ismail stepped out.
Yeah, definitely.
While on the run.
Good scramble defense there. I thought there was an advantage being played, but the referee perhaps deemed it to have been already the advantage being had been gained. So it's an opportunity now for Burkina Faso to exit their half, of course, off the line out. Their set piece hasn't been the best, and this is a dangerous, dangerous position for them to be in. They need to make sure that they win this line out. Otherwise, anything short of that could be possession to Ivory Coast, who could hurt them, as we're seeing some considerable changes. Shot number 2 there for Ivory Coast. He has really put in the work, done a lot of close to 70 minutes, you should say, or 70 exact minutes. An absolute workhorse, the big man, and now he gets, of course, his time to rest and perhaps reflect on an amazing game he has had, and hopefully get the win from this particular game through his efforts and those of his teammates.
And of course, that will be the prayer of every Ivorian watching this game. Burkina Faso win the line out, but Ivory Coast pile on the pressure and forcing a turnover here. Burkina Faso trying to get the ball and hope that they can maybe clear it out, as Karembiri does exactly that. But the ball, oh, now that's a knock on by Ivory Coast shot number 21, Benjamin Maurice.
Yeah, that was a good box kick by Karembiri, and then of course the knock on, and there was a bit of a complaint there to the referee that the man that made the knock on did not allow the other team to play advantage, but perhaps you could also say rightly justified. He also needed to kill advantage, otherwise his team would be in a very tricky situation. As you can see, he kicks the ball out, and yeah, it's good awareness from him not to allow Burkina Faso to take advantage of that knock-on from that point, because they could have really hurt them.
Yeah, exactly. If he had picked up the ball, then they would just have scratched and gone.
Yeah.
And you never know the kind of defensive shape Ivory Coast would still have been found in at that point in time.
At that point, they didn't have any defensive shape. Everyone was still the other side backtracking.
Yeah, exactly. And now, Dembe Passy of Burkina Faso. They have got 8 minutes to play. Ball is released here. Karembiri. That's a brilliant play coming in now from Burkina Faso's Zimbango Jean.
Interesting series of play there. A long pass that misses the first target. And then a player that slips, and then a knock-on. So a lot of things happening in just in about 10 seconds.
Well, I guess it has everything to do with the pressure that the two teams are under. It's all about trying to avoid the drop. But take it or leave it, one of them will definitely have to be playing in the lower tier next year.
Amazing thing about sport is at this time, Ivory Coast is wondering how time is taking so long, and Burkina Faso could probably be
thinking that time is moving so fast.
Yeah, so when they tell you that time is relative, then perhaps sometimes it is true.
Kamara Adama feeds the ball in for Ivory Coast. Finds Traore, then who also finds his teammate, and that's Lepri Jacques. Breaks the lines, and now again Traore Amadou. Ivory Coast doing a pretty good job even with the numerical disadvantage. Now it is Kamara Adama. Small man has got heart. He's not afraid to run into brick walls here. Penalty for Ivory Coast.
Yeah, penalty for Ivory Coast. They're very, very crucial penalty. Infringement at the ruck there by Burkina Faso, and this could prove costly. As you see, the intent surely is for a kick at goal this time round. We did see the player, of course, attempt one, having just come on, of course, in the second half there. Shot number 22, Amadou Traore. He had the distance, he didn't have the direction with his first attempt. This one is a little more direct. Let's see if he has the accuracy for this one, but this could prove to be a very, very key moment in this game. And
yeah, this time he gets it right, and that's 18 points to Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah, and he stretches it to now a two score game where
Cote d'Ivoire, rather
Burkina Faso have to score twice.
One thing that you've got to commend him for, that is Amadou Traore. His
Traore with the extra 3 points.
the precision as well, and also realizing that these 3 extras are definitely going to stretch it for Burkina Faso. 5 minutes left to play, 8-10. Burkina Faso either stay afloat in this division or will be relegated at the end of this half. Will be shifting their camp again now for Burkina Faso as pressure is put on Burkina Faso's Dao Omar.
Good defense there by Ivory Coast, of course. And the quick start, which the referee deems okay. And it's going to be a lot of game management from this point on for Ivory Coast, who now want to play territory.
Just can't keep the ball in, even with that pass from Barrow Thierry, shot 23 of Burkina Faso.
Yeah, loose pass there by Burkina Faso, unfortunately. And oh, that's quite unfortunate. You need those passes to stick, especially now as we're under 5 minutes and Burkina Faso need to score twice.
You can see Ivory Coast already up and standing, looking forward to the final whistle.
Yeah, a bit of tension and also anticipation as they hope that their players on the pitch can get the job done.
But do you feel, Ruben, that if the result holds as it is for Cote d'Ivoire, does this in some ways feel like winning a championship?
Yeah, definitely does. It means you have to play with the big boys yet again next year. You have the opportunity to vie for World Cup qualification. As a great cross kick there, chip and chase.
Passing kick, and that's a try. That's
amazing.
Brilliant play.
Amazing try there, and that surely seals this one. But what a try. What a try there.
Yeah, Benjamin Morris, that was intelligent play from the man with the mohawk. He picks the ball from his teammate, that is Nakarabo, who plays the pass in, and then he makes the run, he makes the kick for territory, and he still beats his markers there. Just look at that, how he receives it, and then just kicks it on, and then just shrugs off the marking of Burkina Faso chance number 14, Yamewoko Cloud. And there is no stopping Ivory Coast. Definitely, they have secured 7th place, and they'll be staying in this division, while Burkina Faso are going to end up with the wooden spoon.
Yeah, Benjamin Morris there, brilliant stuff, a moment of brilliance there. The chip kick and the legs to follow it up as Amadou Traore unfortunately doesn't get the extras. But at this point, I don't think it matters really. The range is really big, and with about 2 minutes or so to play, Ivory Coast surely have gotten the job done. But it's a case of the team with a little more experience has really done what's necessary all through the 78 minutes or so. Burkina Faso, really, they showed marks of brilliance, and as you can see, yet another error. The ball does not cross the 10-meter mark. Possession back to Ivory Coast, but those are the small things that we have been talking about. Those small errors compound to something big, and the inexperience of Burkina Faso, of course, being at this level for the first time, really showing. As Ivory Coast now really just have to see this game of maybe a case of a scrum, have a few carries, wait for the hooter, and keep the ball into touch.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 minutes to go. And this is what it is for Burkina Faso, all in tears. As the current standing means that they will be relegated. Right there in the picture is Fougnat Flavien, one of the players that was brought on, but then was taken off. I guess he picked up a knock or something. For Burkina Faso, it means that they are going so far back from where they've come to get to this point. Of course, as a nation, they have played rugby for not more than 4 years. So I guess that tells that they are yet to really build the experience. But also looking at the ranking, Burkina Faso ranked 92 in the world against a 47th ranked Ivory Coast. This result should not surprise Ruben.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, Ivory Coast, rather Burkina Faso, just being part of World Rugby as recent as 2020. So they have a lot to learn. I'm sure they will take a lot of positives from this particular tournament. Of course, trying to see how to get a quick score here, but there's a lot to play for, and next year they will have the opportunity to qualify yet again for the Rugby Africa Cup top tier. But I think they have given a good account of themselves, a scare against Uganda, and also not making it easy for Namibia on match day 1. So they have really been a great team, of course, looking out to players like Demi Adama, who was their captain, very, very good ball carrier, but also looking at players like Karembari that have really shown a lot of brilliance. So there's a lot of talent in the team, perhaps just need to fine-tune a couple of things.
Exactly, more game time, more international test games will definitely improve this Burkina Faso side. Karembiri, he finds Sabango, Jean, and then the pass to his teammate here. That is shot number 11, Sawadogo Abase, just couldn't keep the ball on.
Yeah, missed pass, but they did have the advantage. So they are in the last play at this point. Interesting to see what they do. I'm sure they'll have one last hurrah to try and go for at least a try to have something to celebrate about this game.
And the hood goes. So this should be the last act in this game as Karembiri plays the ball into touch.
Yeah, they choose to go for the line out.
Burkina Faso. So the line out will be executed by Gwehi Francois, shot number 16. A substitute that was just brought on a couple minutes ago. A line out by Gwehi. Well done there by Gwehi Francois. But you wonder whether any other points scored there or recorded by Burkina Faso would not only be a mere consolation. It's where he picks it up again. He has the support of teammates. But the pressure comes in also for Ivory Coast, not allowing Burkina Faso to get anywhere near the try line. Two teams from West Africa. Whistle goes, and it is a knock-on, and that marks the end of the game because the knock-on was in favor of the Ivory Coast, which Ivory Coast team did not need anything from that ball. Just allowed the referee to blow the final whistle, which marks the end of what has been an entertaining game of rugby. You can see the celebrations, the pointer to what it means to this Ivory Coast side as they maintain their status in the rugby tier, meaning that they'll be able to qualify and play in next year's Rugby World Cup qualifiers. While for Burkina Faso, who have lost the game by 13 points difference, get relegated to the lesser tier. And Ruben, your final thoughts on this game?
Congratulations!
Of course, definitely congratulations to Ivory Coast. They were the better team. They did the small things right, and they have been very exciting. They also have quite a journey to go, but experience came to the fore in this particular one, and they had the more experience as compared to Burkina Faso. Hard luck to Burkina Faso. There is always a next time, and of course they will have an opportunity to qualify and come back, but they did show a good account of themselves here in Uganda, and we look forward to seeing them in the future.
Yeah, of course, it's not been a very good day for Burkina Faso. We're hoping that they would stay in this particular tier, but Ivory Coast were a little bit more experienced, more quality, and more effective. We'll hand you over to Desire for the full-time wrap of this game of the Rugby Africa Cup playoff 7th place encounter that has been between Cote d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso. Over to you, Desire Mugumisa.
Thank you, Vianney. Today was a quite special one, the big game. Probably, well, not the biggest of the tournament, but a very big one, getting to open up. Especially evident on the pitch as just managed to conclude. And
we do the work. We know this game is going to be very